Namaskar. Hello and welcome to P Guru's channel. I'm your host Shekhar Iyer. Joining me today, as always, is Shekhar Iyer ji, and we're going to talk about a few things. In fact, some breaking things. Even Chandrayaan has not been spared of politics. There is some politics going around that too. To discuss all this and more, let's welcome Shekhar Iyer ji. Shekhar ji, namaskar and welcome to P Guru's channel.
Namaskar, Shekhar ji, namaskar. Today indeed is a very, very important day for our space scientists and engineers. Yes, sir.
So, the last time Chandrayaan 2, the landing, the thing actually crashed because of one faulty, what do you call that thing? Anyway, one faulty component that did not engage quite well. So what happened was that it couldn't decelerate fast enough when it was coming down. It's like a parachute landing. And that's what really caused the problem. Hopefully they have got redundancy built in this time and everything will go smoothly. So we'll wait and see what happens. But the politics around that. Shekhar ji, this is a matter of pride for every Indian, including Indian-born person like me. Why is the opposition playing politics around this? Why have they sunk to this low?
Well, Shekhar ji, the main worry is if anything good is going to happen, the credit would go to Prime Minister Modi, or that the Modi government would have an additional feather in its cap. It's just about this fear, and that what we are seeing is just before the landing, statements by leaders like Mamata Banerjee trying to remind everyone, look, this is all about ISRO, not about the government of India. This is about the talent of our scientists. And then you have an actor like Prakash Raj, who comes up with who puts up a cartoon trying to mock at the ISRO scientists who have done phenomenal work. And as far as possible, they have worked at indigenous route for this kind of achievement. And when Chandrayaan lands on the surface of moon, India will be the second country, this millennium to have achieved this, and fourth country in the world. And recently, we just saw a few days ago how Russia's spacecraft could not land. Because the challenges of landing on the moon, moon is so near yet so far, in the sense, because of the, for our viewers' understanding, the surface itself is, it's not a uniform surface. Therefore, the gravitational pulls vary. So you'll have to design an aircraft which takes into account, and at the same time, you have problems of soft landing. That soft landing itself is so difficult, and because you have to land at the correct spot. This time they have chosen the south pole of the moon, and then you will have to cut speed. At the same time, you have to do it fast. These are two difficult things, in a very plain understanding of science involved in the landing a craft. And then there is, because of engines are fired to make the landing, it causes the reverse of what they say is they creates lunar dust. And then it is so far, that then, and the other fact is extreme temperatures. The temperature on the moon can vary between 54 degrees Celsius to minus 203. These are the kind of challenges. But our politicians rather look at, what if it succeeds? Because they had what I would say some kind of a very, very negative satisfaction in 2019. Prime Minister was at the Space Mission Control at ISRO headquarters, and when Chandrayaan could not land for the reasons you mentioned. And since then, they have looked at every aspect that can fail, and they have worked very hard. And you saw that scene of Sivan, the former ISRO chairman, actually breaking down, and Prime Minister staying, rather extending his stay to meet those scientists, including Sivan, and assuring them that the government is backing them. This is what would have happened in any country where the political authority, why the political parties would be backing our scientists, because this is a bipartisan thing. I mean, sir, similarly, when Aryabharta was sent, when Rakesh Sharma, was put on space, people naturally credited Indira Gandhi government. And in fact, that conversation between Indira Gandhi and Rakesh Sharma, how does India look from the space mission? And his famous answer, "Sare jahan se acha." The conversation between Indira Gandhi and Rakesh Sharma.
That is a loaded question. आपको कौन सी चीज बहुत सुंदर दिख रही है वहां से? And then the guy says सारे जहां से अच्छा है.
So one can see that whichever government is in office at that period, a lot of credit would be given. But that doesn't take away the credit for the scientist or for all of us to feel proud. So I think this is the moment we are waiting. But there's more happening in politics. We can see how a simple gesture, Rajinikanth has been promoting his film Jailer. So he has been visiting states, meeting chief ministers, opposition leaders. He was in Rishikesh recently, which is this annual retreat. He goes there often, but this time, after this release of Jailer, he was there, and he has a spiritual dimension to his life. We all know about it. Then from there, he went to Lucknow. Lucknow, he met Yogi Adityananth, and then pictures of him touching the feet went viral. He also met Akhilesh Yadav, who gave him a good hug. But back in Tamil Nadu, we found people were very, very upset. How can Rajinikanth, who is supposed to be politically neutral, touching the feet of somebody who is seen as the person who may fill Modi's place in the years to come? So there's a lot, and people are trying to question. He's 72 years old. Yogi is much younger. Why was he doing this? And then a lot of people saying that this is that because today he is, after his decision not to get involved in politics, he was seen as more having succumbed to the pressures from DMK and their patrons who are into film industry, and that's the reason why he did not make that debut in the last Tamil Nadu elections. But to make a big deal about this, because I think that's the fear is that the fear is now Rajinikanth had his own reasons, because Rajinikanth believes in Mahavatar Babaji, the Kriya Yoga guru who is highly revered and part of the Nath Sampradaya. And Yogi ji belongs to Nath Sampradaya. The Gorakhnath temple, the Gorakhnath Mutt in Gorakhpur, is part of the Nath Sampradaya, and probably it had a lot of a spiritual angle to Rajinikanth. But then the politics part is, it's seen that his fans may get a kind of a message that Rajinikanth is endorsing Yogi. And of course, already in Tamil Nadu, people are talking about how Yogi is transforming Uttar Pradesh, how Yogi is bringing about changes, how he is able to bring in governance in a state that has long remained ungovernable, where law and order has been said last election, 2022 election was simply one-on-one issue, law and order. I mean, can you believe any state where an election can be just uni-focused on a subject that overshadowed everything else? That's what happened in Uttar Pradesh. So apart from law and order, of course, people talk about the style, they talk about the bulldozer politics. Even some people question whether these are extrajudicial approach to fixing some major problems, lawlessness. But then people of Uttar Pradesh say that this is this is extremely important, and they feel that this is the way probably the Uttar Pradesh can be somewhat, you can have a modicum of governance before things can be set in order. But then a lot of projects are coming, a lot of industrialists, companies are showing interest in investment. Now this is the image of Yogi that people in Tamil Nadu are seeing, and above all, corruption free. I mean, nobody can point an accusing finger at Yogi, just as you can't at the Prime Minister Modi, the person. So this is how a touching of feet has kicked up such a storm. Shreyaji.
Thank you so much, sir. And viewers, we wanted to kind of give you a couple of alternatives on what happened when some terrorists who were trying to enter the line of control got neutralized. And we have some information for you on that via a slide deck, and I'm going to show you the slide deck. So was that a surgical strike, or was it just an encounter at the border, at its LOC, line of operation control? This has been questioned. And what we have now is that, at least for sure, at the line of control, there were a few people who were neutralized. Can we go to the next slide, please? So this is from a tweet that one of the popular tweeters has put out. I forgot to put his name, but I'll put the link in the description section. And here you can see that we are talking about an encounter at the line of control. However, one website, Vernacular, has actually said that the Indian Army went in 4 kilometers and they actually neutralized 4 camps, and that India didn't suffer any losses. This part of the story is not being confirmed or denied In fact, India, the army is denying that they did anything of that nature. So this is at the line of control where they are looking at the bodies. Here is one angle, and here is another angle. These are about 5 or 6, but the number is much more than that. That's what some people say. We'll get more details as we come along. But all this is happening in the backdrop of a G20 meeting that is going to take place in India in just a couple of weeks' time. And it was rumored that these people are trying to come and disrupt India in a big way. Who knows what they had planned? But somehow this is it's at the point where Pakistan hasn't even said anything about this. And that means, in Tamil, there's a saying, "Thirudanukku thel kottuna madri," which means the scorpion stung the thief who came to rob the house. So is that what it is? I don't know. Shekharji, maybe you are in Delhi or you have the pulse of what is happening in Delhi. You can throw a little bit more light on this, sir.
So rather, it is more to do with more than G20. There is a lot of apprehension among the opposition parties that with the elections looming large in Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan, Telangana, is Modi government out to do something that will swing voters away from the opposition parties? So they fear. That's why the talk of a Balakot style strike. And incidentally, this incident has also happened in the Balakot sector of Hamirpur. So you can see that the anxiety even in the section of the media as to is something cooking, because people are already talking of, well, India had taken an adventure in the Pak occupied Kashmir before the Lok Sabha elections. But from way I can see, sir, these are very routine things that are happening across a line of control. A lot of, because if it is going to happen and if it is going to be a big one, definitely India would acknowledge. But at the moment, I do not think that one can ascribe a greater magnitude to what has happened there. But our troops are on alert. You mentioned G20. G20 is happening on September 8th and 9th. A lot of leaders are coming, including US President Biden, Russian President Putin. You will have UK Prime Minister, French President, a lot of leaders, of course, Chinese President Xi Jinping too. So a lot of things are happening. There's a lot of security aspects. Even in Delhi, the Delhi government has announced a holiday, a public holiday, coinciding with this G20 summit, so that there is a less traffic on the road. There are more security protocol with more than 20 heads of state, in a city like Delhi. So you need to, work out ways to smoothen traffic and ensure the VVIP movement for security reasons. So these are people are trying to connect. But the larger question is, at the moment, Pakistan is caught in a deep internal turmoil. There is there is a political turmoil. Also, there are troubles within the Pakistan military, and then you have the cases going on against Imran Khan. I mean, this is a time where I do not know what Pakistan would to divert attention from its own internal issues, but having suffered once in Balakot, both in terms of their pride, their asmita, and their morale. I do not think they would undertake further adventure. But then we have to be alert. But if there are political consequences of any military action on the border, that's a problem. The opposition has to worry, because all the time when this has happened, they are questioned. They have, whether actually the veracity of the incident. Did the accident happen? Did the army really carry out? Did the Air Force? Because last time it was Air Force, and all these questions keep coming. But sir, in Jammu Kashmir itself, life has come a full circle. There's a lot more peace there, lot more normalcy. People are back in schools and colleges. Cinema halls have started functioning. You have some, malls, multiplex complexes. A lot of things have happened, and then the delimitation work is done. So people are expecting elections to be announced to the Jammu and Kashmir Assembly, which is right now a part of the Union Territory scheme of things. But once election are over, there will be a declaration to make it full-fledged state. So, and we are seeing that political activity is picking up. They are just waiting for an announcement as to when the elections will be held. They have to be held, if they have to be held, before the onset of winter, before the because you have snow falling in most places where communication becomes difficult. So Jammu Kashmir is the focus, but before that, you can be sure there will be attempts to show, look, things are not back to normal. But then life, people are seeing it, more and more tourists. This time the tourist flow has increased to Jammu and Kashmir, and the Dal Lake looks more beautiful. A lot of people are, Indian domestic tourism itself has picked up quite a lot. So these are the times when, where you see a huge lull. These are the times when these infiltration attempts are always made. Shayji.
Thank you, sir. And viewers, please like this video. And I have a small announcement to make. I just released a new book of mine. It is now available in Amazon as well as a couple of other websites. And I'm going to just play a 20-second trailer of that. If with your permission, Shekhar, just 20 seconds of your time.
Please.
But first, please like this video. Thank you so much. And viewers, this is available today. You can buy it from Amazon. You can also get it from my website, sriiyer.com. There's also an app available for Android as well as for iOS. And you can not only buy the book, you can also get an ebook from there. So everything is available in various ways. So I do encourage you to buy this, because Shekharji and I, if you remember all our hangouts, we go back down memory lane. A lot of stories get exchanged. Some of the other stories that have not been told yet, will find it in a fictional form in this book. I guarantee you it is something that is absolutely going to be spellbound. You can read some of the reviews of the book. You'll understand how tightly it is written. Purnima, the ebook is going to be available in the United States very shortly. Now let's go back to the next item, sir. Nitish versus Lalu. And who is going to be the person who's going to be leading Bihar politics? Are they together still, or they're in looking out, or what is going on really there, sir?
Well, Shayarji, last time we talked about maxim with journalism: do not believe anything until it is denied. Looks like even this applies to this situation where, for the first time, Lalu has broken silence as to when Tejashwi Yadav will take over as Chief Minister of Bihar. When Nitish did another of his somersault and left the company of BJP and embraced Lalu again, the air in Bihar was thick with the talk that Nitish has promised to give up his chief ministership in favor of Tejashwi Yadav, Lalu's second son, and who is currently deputy chief minister. And Lalu would shift to, Nitish would shift to Delhi. This was just before Nitish got fully involved in trying to get opposition leaders together. I'm talking about a year ago. I mean, this talk gained strength, and even now there has been a talk whether the RJD is pressurizing JDU to merge in RJD, and probably and they want him to take full charge as convener of this opposition front, which has a new acronym. So this talk is going on. But yesterday we heard Lalu saying, look, there is nothing like that. There is no such deal. Nitish going to be there for a long time. This is not a move to bringing Tejaswi, which goes to show that these rumblings are worrying Lalu as much, because within the RJD, they are looking at a scenario, because the opposition alliance itself has been completely taken over by the Congress, the management and things like that, which is worrying Nitish himself personally, because although Nitish has a way of denying something that worries him the deepest. The stronger the denial, the deeper the worry about his own situation. We have seen this before. So he has been saying, no, yeah, ये कोई चीज के लिए कोई ये करता है क्या, ये कोई है चीज है क्या, that typical tone of his. But people know that Nitish is not quite happy that Rahul Gandhi is getting a lot of traction, and it is Congress which is calling the shots since the Bengaluru summit. Now it's going to happen in Mumbai. I think for our political observers, more than G20 summit, we are looking at this summit of leaders on August 31st and 1st in Mumbai. September 1st, they have planned a rally. We do not know what is going to happen before that, because they have the alliance partners, the oppositional partners in Maharashtra are just coming out of the shock treatment that Sharad Pawar administered to them by his frequent meetings with Ajit Pawar. Now, slowly things are coming out, and Pawar has been, of course, trying to reassure his leaders by attacking Modi government, because he has to make up for all that images of his tapping the hands of Prime Minister Modi at the Tilak Award ceremony in Pune, and Prime Minister Modi tapping the hands of Ajit Pawar, all that bonhomie, which got people confused as to particularly the Congress leaders and the Shiv Sena UBT. Sanjay Raut himself writing editorials in Sabla, their official organ, saying that Pawar should not be doing this. It's creating confusion. After that, Pawar addressed a rally in Bhid, where posters were put up saying that Pawar should bless Ajit Pawar. Now, after all this, then the talk, Congress leaders spreading the word, look, it's a supari given to Ajit Pawar by the BJP. Bring Sharad Pawar along to the NDA side, you become chief minister. Now, all this, of course, has been denied. But the big thing is there are a lot of issues in this alliance. But this time, we are told there'll be a structure that will be announced with Sonia Gandhi on the top, with Mamata, MK Stalin, others gracing the second slot. Then the secretariat itself will have a lot of Congress controlled appointments to ensure that things are stay on track. So it is in this scenario we are seeing this, looking at this Lalu thing. And right now, what is happening is, sir, every party, whether it is DMK or the Congress has just announced this working committee where it has a stamp of Rahul Gandhi. Lot of young people have been moved in, of course, in order to show that how in the democracy is alive. They have given a birth to Shashi Tharoor because constantly the public debate was, will they accommodate Shashi Tharoor? Will they give him a ticket from Thiruvananthapuram again? Because he dared to defy the Gandhi family's desire that Mallikarjun Kharge was elected unanimously as the Congress president. But he has been accommodated. Your Sachin Pilot is there. You have Manish Tiwari. These are the leaders who are seen as sometimes being slightly critical of the Congress leadership. So this working committee thing, but there are a lot of others. There are a lot of others. A lot of them are young faces. But it's a omnibus working committee. Perhaps a working committee may be held before the opposition alliance meeting also to send a message that we are in it together, we are stronger, we are taking on. And the I would say some positive reports that are coming to Congress that the Madhya Pradesh stuff is getting tougher and tougher for BJP. So nobody is talking about it. Kamal Nath has taken charge. He is bringing a lot of Hindutva elements there, meeting religious leaders who openly advocate Hindu Rashtra and even saying, what's wrong? India is always majority are Hindus. जिस देश में 80 से ज़्यादा% Hindu हो, why not? So you can see that Kamal Nath has realized the secular brand will not work in Madhya Pradesh. So therefore, apart from the promises that have been made in Madhya Pradesh in terms of freebies and announcements to match what Shivraj Singh Chauhan has already been doing. But then there is a huge fatigue factor as far as Shivraj Singh's leadership is concerned. So some changes have been made. They are again going to have Vijay Sankalp Yatra. One yatra was done with Shivraj crisscrossing the state. But now they are getting other leaders to travel. That includes your Kailash Vijayvargi, it includes Jyotiraditya Scindia, it includes Narendra Singh Tomar, so that the leadership is not focused only on Shivraj. So some correctives are underway, but then some people like Pramod Kishan, Pramod Krishnam, who is considered close to Priyanka because he said that the leadership should go to Priyanka. He has been saying, look, why is it that he has been quite critical of Rahul's speeches on Bharat Mata in parliament. He says, why is Congress increasingly seen as anti-Hindu? And we are losing out on that. See, why did we oppose new parliament? Did not the new parliament belong to entire India? Why are we opposing Ram Temple? Has any leader, Congress leader, top big, visited the Ram Temple yet, Ayodhya yet? Why are we staying away? After all, the temple was born because of the Supreme Court's verdict, which was accepted by all sides. Why are we denying this, the reality of what has happened? Instead, every time we say something, do something, we are perceived by a vast majority of voters as being anti-Hindu. So there are those voices, but then you have Chunavi Hindu. I mean, this constantly it has been said. Even Rahul is Chunavi Hindu. Of course, Kamal Nath has shown that this time, of course, he is also a Chunavi Hindu, but he is going beyond Hanuman Bhakt. So this battle is getting serious, and of course, for the BJP, the challenge is in Madhya Pradesh as well as in Chhattisgarh, where the local reports are indicating that it's getting tougher and tougher. That is why Madhya Pradesh, the BJP has announced 39 candidates to those seats where they have never won before, or they have lost by a smaller margin. In Chhattisgarh, they have announced seats similarly for 21 places. 21 out of 90, yeah, 39 out of total 230. The whole idea is in seats where it is difficult to find a winnable candidate, why not let's go early and announce candidates who will start working. I mean, let's not give up on any seat, because in the last elections, Shriyarji, Congress got 140 and BJP got 103. And this is Shivraj has done 4 years in office. That is a huge a factor. Though he is popularly known as Mamaji, now people are saying, look, 4 years is too many, and BJP has no intention
4 terms.
project him as again as CM. But the problem is they cannot project anybody, because lest the supporters of Shivraj will not work in full earnest. The whole BJP's problem, whether it is Rajasthan or in Madhya Pradesh, to get everyone together. So we are seeing a lot of political activity, and I expect once the G20 summit gets over, Prime Minister's full attention will be on these states going to the polls. Shreyaji.
Thank you so much, Shekharji. But let's just ask a couple of questions before we move on to Mandal 2.0 issue, because you talked about Madhya Pradesh. Sir, Jyotiraditya Scindia, other than the fact that he is the grandson of somebody and a son of somebody, and he has done something, I don't know, as a Minister of Civil Aviation, what are his credentials to becoming the Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh? Or is Modi concerned that this guy is too young now? Then if he establishes himself, he could also be a power center on his own. What are your thoughts, sir?
So I don't think that is the way Modi looks at, because after all, Modi had approved the entry of Jyotiraditya Scindia, which was done with the work done by Narendra Singh Tomar and other BJP leaders who had got Jyotiraditya. Because particularly the Bundelkhand region, that is the region around Gwalior, Jhansi and those places, what has happened is the Maharaja of Gwalior, and they have had a tremendous influence on voters. We may say this is effects of royalty or the Raj, but the fact remains, even today voters in that region, they have some kind of an affiliation with the Gwalior Maharaja or the royal
Family,
the
yeah.
Scindia family. And incidentally, sir, Jyotiraditya Scindia's grandmother, Vijay Mata Raje Scindia, she was one of the top leaders of the Janasangha. So you can see the bonding, and in fact, she had contributed a lot, both in men and material. I will say in financial resources, for to those days when Jansangh didn't have resources at all. So whether it is Atalji or Advaniji or all these Jansangh leaders always felt that the Scindia family, particularly the Maharani, the Vijayaraja Scindia, had contributed to Vijay. So therefore, there is a lot of, I will say, but then Jyotiraditya Scindia, I think the first sign of his coming over to this side was seen when Atalji died, and Jyotiraditya Scindia visited Atalji's home, and one could see his completely bowing in reverence to Atalji, because Atalji was very close to his grandmother. And since then, Jyotiraditya Scindia has made it very clear that he was not interested in becoming chief minister, though that was the reason people ascribed when Jyotiraditya broke away from Kamalnath, because Kamalnath and Jyotiraditya, see, the Kamalnath and Digvijay Singh, these were leaders who had problems with Madharav Scindia, the father of Jyotiraditya Scindia. But today, in the change scenario, I do not rule out any, whether Jyotiraditya Scindia or any other leader having a chance of becoming chief minister after the election. But we know for a fact when Jyotiraditya Scindia came into BJP, I think he himself gave that assurance that he was not looking at eventually becoming chief minister of Madhya Pradesh. He didn't make any such claim on the chair. But then we do not know what opportunities are there in the future for him. He is seen as a young leader that the BJP needed that kind of thrust, particularly for the Bundelkhand region. So this is going. Of course, a lot of his supporters are leaving him, and they are being wooed back by the Congress so that they can ensure that because more than 22 MLAs had left it, gone along with Jyotiraditya Scindia, and they had gone to the BJP side. and that's how BJP made up the numbers. But this time, fatigue factor and the fact that the Kamalnath is confident, and even the BJP is very confident. Inner surveys, rather internal surveys done by BJP, also point to at a very tough fight in Madhya Pradesh. So it's a the the issue is open as to who will finally be near that striking distance. But we must remember the people are already talking of a 50-50 chance or 52-48 chance. That kind of, because it's quite close in most constituencies. But then BJP is not going to go down or go up without putting up a very strong fight.
Thank you, Shekharji. And for viewers' attention, I don't know how many of you know this. Vijay Raje Scindia is related to Madhav Rao Scindia, I think sister, right?
No, that is Vasundhara.
Vasundhara. Oh, I'm sorry, not Vijay Raje. Vasundhara, I'm sorry.
Vasundhara
Pakistan's
Raje
ex-chief minister, yeah.
No, Vasundhara Raje Scindia is sister of Madhav Rao Scindia.
Yes, yes. That's what I meant.
And she is his aunt in Rajasthan.
Also, viewers, Madhav Rao Scindia started out his career in Jansang. There was a time when the new lights, shining lights in Jansang were Dr. Subramanian Swamy and Madhav Rao Scindia, one educated in Harvard, US, and one educated in United Kingdom, Cambridge, United Kingdom. Then what made Madhav Rao Scindia to switch to Congress, sir?
Well, sir, that's a part of, I would say, it relates to emergency. When Vijay Mata was arrested, Madhav Rao Scindia fled to Nepal. And then because he knew Rajiv Gandhi well, and somehow he decided to...
Did he know him well? Of course.
And
big story there.
Yeah. And then I think he somehow sent olive branch to Indira Gandhi and came back. And in the 1977 elections, Madhav Rao Scindia won from Gwalior. That was one of those seats where Congress won. He contested on a Congress ticket. But then Madhav Rao Scindia was at one time seen as one who could be close to the prime ministerial chair. You had even magazines calling him as, the prime minister face. That was a time when Narasimha Rao was prime minister. And that got Madhav Rao Scindia into a lot of trouble with Narasimha Rao, I would say, because Madhav Rao Scindia resigned, and then later he came back, and subsequently he realized he was not getting the prominence that he thought he deserved, then went out to form a Madhya Pradesh Vikas Party, which could not succeed much electorally. Then therefore, Madhav Rao Scindia came back to the Congress when Sitaram Kesari was the chief minister, was the Congress president.
Lots of these goings and comings in those days, viewers, and we just thought we will tell you that nothing is clean in all these things. And I think you meant 4 terms of Shivraj Singh Chauhan, not 4 years, sir.
Yes.
When you're talking about it.
Yeah, because he will be completing 3rd term. He's going to seek for the 4th term.
Yeah. Okay. Sir, that's fine. So now let us take.
I'm sorry. I think he's completing 4th term, and then this will be the 5th term. Yes.
5th term. Right. Now, viewers, there's another interesting story. Do you know where Lalu, Sushil Modi, Nitish Kumar had their political beginnings? I'm sure Shekhar Iyer ji has the answers.
Nitish Kumar, Lalu, they were all part of the Jayaprakash Narayan's movement, emergency movement.
They were all students of Patna University.
Yes, and of course, Lalu was a backbencher. He was more into...
He was absorbing it, sir. He was absorbing all of it.
And they were all foot soldiers, In fact, if you look at all these leaders, whether it is Lalu Prasad Yadav, Nitish Kumar, Sushil Modi, Ravi Shankar Prasad, these were all leaders who were part of that movement, Jayaprakash Narayan's movement, the Sampurna Kranti, that's total revolution. And post-emergency, we saw many of them. Then Mandal, actually, the adoption of the Mandal Commission's report, which resulted in assertment of rights of the OBC over other castes, and then quota for them. That unleashed, that was announced by VP Singh because he was having problems with Devi Lal. So old reports which Indira Gandhi had chose not to look at it because of Pandora's box that would create. So that is how it is. This Mandal Commission report that gave a thrust to the OBC politics, and you saw Mulayam Singh Yadav, Lalu, and others coming to the forefront.
But there's one other mistake in this whole thing. That is that Mandal looked at the 1931 caste census of India before he came up with the Mandal Commission report. Now, the report itself was, I think, done in the 60s or 70s, whenever it is. It was a good 30 years later. And then now, if you go back and look at those numbers, let us say somebody has gone more, somebody has gone less. Will the less accept a lesser percentage in reservation, sir?
Sheerji, in this country, you cannot reduce anything. You can only increase. If you have granted something to somebody, you cannot cut it down. And politically speaking, now the whole problem we are talking about Mandal and things like that, because these parties which grew on the strength of Mandal now are looking at a possibility whether there can be a Mandal 3.0 rather a Mandal, because I would call it 3.0 because there was further social engineering. You had most backward classes and things like that. Mandal 1, between Mandal 1 and Mandal 3 that they are looking at, there were subcastes were reduced, in which BJP also, because there has been a lot of mandalization of BJP also, because they have also realized the importance of these intermediate castes, the political importance of these castes. And that is why you have seen in Bihar particularly, there has been several attempts at social engineering. Nitish, biggest claim to his political, I would say, supremacy or a domination for some time was largely because he looked at this Mahadalits and the concept of MBCs, that is most backward classes. So that is how it has happened. Now what Nitish has thought of is, which is now he being supported by Lalu, why even by Rahul Gandhi, forgetting the fact that Rajiv Gandhi was not in favor of Mandal Commission. Because if you remember at that time when the agitation started, in fact, Rajiv Gandhi, we must give him credit to the fact that despite politically being more advantageous for Congress to embrace it then, Rajiv Gandhi's voice was rather against VP6's decision, saying this is not the way you create a social empowerment by causing so much of social disharmony. Sir, one of the credits of Chandrasekhar government, which came after VP6 government, was to douse those flames of Mandal fire, I would say. Now, subsequent to that, today it's Mandal has been accepted. OBC reservation has been there for a long time. A lot of people have benefited. Of course, there is still the issue of creamy layer, and now parties are promising that they will further increase the creamy layer limit so that more people can cover. But sir, today, whether it is in Bihar or in Uttar Pradesh, if this whole caste census business, now what has happened is Patna High Court had initially put a stay and they have allowed it. So parties have come running to Supreme Court to stop it. And a day ago, we saw Solicitor General himself wanting to become intervener in the petition to say, look, this is not something that will be done in a harmonious way, and it's only the union government that can conduct caste survey, not states. The idea, because already there was a Rohini committee which has given a report on how has looked at this whole backwardness, economic backwardness, social backwardness, categorization, whether that should be recategorization, because the demand for the quota came from Jats in Haryana. You saw violence in Haryana over that. Marathas have long been demanding it in Maharashtra, but courts have not allowed it. So there are other communities who are demanding that they be declared a OBC category and given more quota. And Patels, Patidars in Gujarat, they had an agitation. And till Patel became a chief minister, rather returned as chief minister, it was a big issue in Gujarat. So you can see that political power and quotas are somehow seen linked. Even this time, the idea is, if can we bring the caste issue back, the caste identity politics back. This is the drive which is united Rahul Gandhi, because he is driven by that complete hate for Prime Minister Modi. Anything can be there to just get Modi out. But without looking at other consequences, what if these census throw up fresh figures, as you mentioned? You asked about somebody getting.
Sir, two or three communities are really getting messed up in a bad way, bent out of shape, I must say. There's more than 10%. Some people say up to 18% of Uttar Pradesh population that is Brahmin. They are taking a heck of a beating right now. And in Tamil Nadu, the rascals want them eliminated. They want them genocided. And that is the state of Brahmins in Tamil Nadu. So that's not all. You see the exodus of students going abroad to study, especially in professional courses. It's mainly these forward classes because no matter how much they score, they can't get into any of the good schools in India. So what they are doing is they are mortgaging their future. Their parents are, giving their entire savings to them to go and study somewhere so that they can get this coveted degree that they want. So these kinds of things is also coming at a huge price. Also, another problem I have with this whole thing, sir, there's an economically backward classes category. But what happens to those people who are already enjoying reservations under OBC or ST or ST? They should not be applying for the economically backward class. I mean, there has to be some amount of delineation there. If you are already having a reservation, you should not be applying here. Now, again, in this case, Tamil Nadu says that we will not implement EBC because that is aimed at only helping Brahmins. And these people don't have anything in their brains. 35 categories, 35 castes are in forward today in Tamil Nadu. All of them, some are Muslim, some are even Christian. Everybody is being denied this. So what I'm trying to say, Shekharji, is this is just run its course, sir. I'm really hoping for once that this opposition, all these lallus are all completely get washed out. And somebody new comes up who can at least think pan-India, pan-Bharat, not this nonsense about me, my caste, my subcaste, my sub-caste. This thing has run its course. My 2 cents, sir. Please go ahead.
No, Shriyarji, of course, those who are already covered under OBC cannot apply under economically backward classes. But the problem is, like you mentioned, Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu, they have refused to implement it. And in other states, we are seeing that people are getting money, and they even question the Supreme Court verdict on this. So, but the bigger issue, sir, let's assume, as you mentioned, a population of a particular community is larger than thought of. So the whole idea, see, the desire of these leaders, Nitish or Lalu or Rajiv, even Rahul Gandhi, their intention is not about the empowerment of poor people. In which case, economic backwardness should have been the main criteria, with factoring into the social backwardness. What has happened is the reverse. So today, you tell me, sir, whether the kith and kin of Mulayam Singh Yadav's family or Akhilesh Yadav family, should they continue to get reservation? Now, if you want to increase the creamy layer, what happens? Then you are denying benefit to even members of your own community who deserve to be uplifted. Now, sir, in Tamil Nadu, sir, very sorry to say, since we are discussing, they will say two Brahmins are discussing this. That is how they react. Because for them, they can only through a particular prism. But I am asking one thing. Just because Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, managed to show the mirror to the DMK in Parliament recently, you are crying, you and all your cry over Manipur is such a hoax. When the way you treated Jayalalitha inside the assembly of all places, when the patriarch of DMK Karunanidhi was the chief minister. Now, how is the reaction you see? Now, Dayanidhi Maran, Murasoli Maran's son, and he has just spoken at a meeting saying, look, this is all this Nirmala Mami is doing it. And Mami is the derogatory term used by.
Sir, he said this guy is. Go ahead. I have something to say that. Yeah.
Sir, Mami is the derogatory term used by these Dravidian parties for a Brahmin woman. Now, this is the way you are countering what Nirmala has said, because she has really touched a point where DMK is worried, because if this issue picks up, people are reminded how women are treated and the atrocities that continue to happen in Tamil Nadu on women. Now, so you have had others point out today, BJP leaders and others are pointing out, look, Murasoli Maran married a Brahmin lady, and Dayana's mother is a Brahmin lady, Dayanidhi Maran's spouse is a Brahmin lady. Now, here are the people who are attacking a particular community, because that's the only way they feel they can counter that argument. And I mean, your mother will belong to that community and your wife belong to that community. I mean, why are you using this anti-Brahmin card? Because today in Tamil Nadu, I do not think people still think in those terms. Okay, at one point of time, because these parties felt the Congress party of that period was dominated by Brahmin leaders, anti-Brahminism was seen as a way of promoting social empowerment. But today things are different. Today, many people, sir, even DMK leaders privately tell me that Brahmins are like Jews. They are very bright, but for our politics we do it. But when we need consultation, we approach Brahmin lawyers when they face cases. Rather, I would say lawyers who happen to be Brahmins or doctors who happen to be Brahmins. Now, today, sir, in Tamil Nadu, where the challenges are huge, and of course, the kind of policies that these parties, yes, the empowerment of social backwardness, with backward class has brought about a big change in Tamil Nadu. One cannot deny it. There are a lot more people from other communities who have come to the front, got advantage of education, has got the benefit of government job. But has it ended the caste conflict in Tamil Nadu? Has it brought a casteless society, Tamil Nadu? No. Because all the time when they talk about caste, because they dare not talk about other communities and parties which are dependent on those vote, because the numbers are huge. If your fight against caste politics is all about numbers, if the numbers is small, then you use them as, you know, you use them to keep on trashing them. But if the numbers are huge, then you go upon, picking the candidates from those communities and dare not do anything else. So this is the kind of cauldron on over which Tamil Nadu is sitting today. If DMK is also supporting a caste-based census, what happens if their community is seen as much more than the numbers are? You think they are? What happens if 1 years are much more than we think them to be? What happens if Dalits, the number of Dalits, the figure is you compared to more, and if you have to increase the quota for Dalits, because at today it is frozen at 15% for scheduled castes and 7.5% for the scheduled tribes. Now but at a time when India is moving forward to resort to caste identity politics, because you feel that's the way only you can counter BJP's Hindutva politics. This is not about Brahmins, or this is not about Brahmins being left out. Fine, I mean, that could be another kind of argument. I'm not getting into that. But the larger question is, that's my worry. You talked about Manipur. DMK is much more worried about what happened in Manipur. Why did it happen in Manipur like that? Because constantly the ethnic identity was used in politics. Same thing could happen if you're going back to caste census. You want to reinforce caste identities, then you will have caste trouble. And no amount of all your obeisance to Periyar or Anna or Kalaignar, for that matter, is going to help, because the reality will hit you hard. Today, our youths need better education, better colleges. You are fighting over NEET, when NEET figures are going up well. Yes, there are unfortunate incidents of boys or girls taking their lives because they are not successful in some professional qualification exam. But then to put the clock back, because you leaders run medical colleges, you run engineering. Of course, nobody is bothered about engineering colleges because some of them are shutting down for want of students in the south.
Sir, 38 colleges have zero recruitment this year in engineering colleges. 38. Very big number in Tamil Nadu. It's just out of the world. Sir, let's take some questions now. We've gone into this. Viewers, this is it's like this. I don't consider myself as a Brahmin. I'm more of a Kshatriya, because in terms of what I do, I'm fighting. And I'm fighting for you. I'm fighting for all of us. It doesn't matter. I mean, if somebody is so dense in the head that they want to call Ayers as a forward caste, I say you are an idiot. Because that person's last name itself is confusing for, is used everywhere. So this is what you have up again. Some half-baked numbskulls, dimwits, nitwits. Okay, they think that by doing this, they can get ahead in life. What Dyanidhi Maran doesn't realize is that this very thing is going to come, let's say 10, 20 years down the road, when all the Brahmins have left Tamil Nadu. Guess who are they going to turn against? The next speaker section. It could very well be you. Isai Velalar is a very small community. Hey, don't this kind of a stupid mentality. No wonder somebody calls them with a letter starting with P and ending with an I. That's exactly your mindset. That's why it is. Anyway, let's go back and take some questions. Rahul Rathod wants to know, will Justice Rohini Commission for OBC benefit BJP because in UP and Bihar, M plus Y is time-tested formula to stay in power for regional parties, and will this commission break Y guy's dominance on OBC?
In Uttar Pradesh, sir, these caste-based parties or caste identity-driven parties are worried because Yogi success in Uttar Pradesh has brought what is called a pan-Hindu effect, and issues have moved to more on governance. That is worrying these caste-based parties, because they realize, look, we can't fight them on using the caste identity unless we create a situation where we can make the caste to feel uncomfortable or to feel insecurity. If we can bring in insecurity, then we can go back to that old model. But Uttar Pradesh, all the rivers, including Ganga and Yamuna, has seen more water flown down all these years, where governance issues have taken over under Yogi's leadership. So that is what is worrying them, because they could not prevent 2017, they could not prevent 2022, and in between you had a 2019, a 2014, and a 2019, and parliamentary elections. Now again, the fear is, how do we bring back this? So therefore, I think they are looking at, but that Rohini Commission is to not about UP, but more about Maharashtra, Gujarat, and even Gujars in Rajasthan, where they are demanding increase in categorization, increase in more representation. So if you are going to play on caste politics, though all the time it is being played, but to go back to go back in history and go reverse back in time and go, of course, Rohini Commission is trying to examine all this, because the criteria has to be backwardness, that is in terms of social backwardness, and also you cannot completely close your eyes to the economic criteria, because there are more people deserving than who have been covered hitherto, and that is not possible unless you are going to do it in a more scientific way and not driven by political consideration. Because already, despite Muslim Yadav factor, Samajwadi Party could not succeed, though the numbers increased between 17 and 22. So therefore, I think my answer to Rahulji is, look, that the time-tested formula is also under heavy strain, because it does not deliver. But for heaven's sake, do not go back to this caste business and try to again stir the caste pot, because that will have a far-reaching consequences. And today, our young people, I would say the young people today, many of them who have managed to come out, I'm talking particularly about the backward people belonging to backward class young people. They want recognition for their talents, for their individuality. They do not want to go back to this. Though in vast rural areas, you can still play the caste factor. Yes, I do admit there are still caste discriminations taking place. Those will have to be fought. But in order to drive out rats, do not set the house on fire.
Yes, indeed. Next question, please. Pawan Kishore wants to know, Namaskaram, sir. What do you think are prospects of BJP in Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan in upcoming state polls? Will declaration of candidate give any edge to BJP?
Well, as I said earlier, in Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, where they have announced candidates, they are for those seats which the BJP has not won last time. At some of the seats, they have never won. Some of the seats where the margin of loss is so small. So, therefore, these are the states where BJP is looking at winnable candidates who can fight the elections. That's a basic idea, the purpose behind. Now, it's not a question of giving an early edge, at least in places where they can announce candidates who can start work. I mean, despite all odds, they can work. Who knows, they can even succeed. So that is the idea behind that. Yes, Madhya Pradesh is a tough place. Even Rajasthan, Congress is counting on all the freebies that Gehlot has announced, and even there the situation is not that easy for BJP. That is even admitted by BJP leaders. But the fact that in Rajasthan, the government is repeated, and people are trying to say Vasundhara has not been kept in this committee or that committee. That is not true, because these are election management committee, basically nuts and bolts committee and manifesto committee. Because Vasundhara Raje Scindia knows she cannot do without BJP. BJP knows they cannot do without her. She still remains a pan Rajasthan leader who attracts a lot of women voters. So there has to be a combination, there has to be compromise between these leaders. If in Rajasthan, Congress says it has effected a compromise between Sachin Pilot and Ashok Gehlot, why should we assume that in BJP has not put its house in order? Definitely BJP will put up a tough fight, but these elections are a challenge. Then again, in terms of narrative, the outcome of these elections will set the narrative for 2024. But that necessarily does not necessarily mean it also influences outcome in 2024. We have seen it in 2018. The Congress won in Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, and Madhya Pradesh. Of course, in Madhya Pradesh, because of deceptions, rebellion, BJP came back to power in a short time. So it's an open situation, but it is tough. That is something privately acknowledged by BJP leaders and Congress leaders. Of course, they are I would say, on a high because of the results in Karnataka, results in this Himachal Pradesh.
Thank you, sir. Next question, please. Venkatraman Narayan wants to know, why is BJP unable to find leaders like Yogi for Bihar, Rajasthan, MP, and other states? UP success story must be replicated for sure to drive our country forward. Your views, please.
Well, all I can say, Venkatramanji, the effort is always on to look for a new phase, a new leadership. Sometimes in Karnataka, things happened too late, things got botched up. But Prime Minister always wants that younger generation must be moved forward and the elder generation must make way. And many cases they do not want to. So we do not know whether Yogi will be found in Rajasthan or a Yogi is going to be found in Madhya Pradesh. But these are situations with replete with, I would say, lot of possibilities. Therefore, one cannot say because the emergence of Yogi came only in the run up to 2017 election where he became a star campaigner. Then it was felt that we must give him a chance despite tremendous opposition. Because Yogi is not exactly an RSS, he has not come out from the RSS school. So there was a lot of misgiving. Should the power be given in such a large state to a person who is not part of the great, one parivar? But nevertheless, the decision was taken at the Prime Minister level, at Amit Shah's level, and the experiment has succeeded. So similarly, we'll have to see what the elections throw up, who are the new leaders, who are the new faces that will get elected to the assembly. It's a thing we have to look forward to.
Next question, please. Anshuman Singh wants to know, sir, do you think after 2024, Annamalai can be added to Modi cabinet? He's very popular in North India too for future prospect and because of his clear messaging.
I will not rule it out, Anshuman ji, because the next cabinet, when Prime Minister Modi returns to for power for the third time, you are definitely going to see a lot of changes because the infusion of more younger blood, infusion of more younger people, along with experience. Because the ideal combinations, you have youthful energy and you have experience combined. That gives you optimum result when it comes to governance. So Annamalai has actually caught the attention of central leaders. Right now, he has a task in Tamil Nadu for the Lok Sabha elections, post Lok Sabha elections, whether he himself will contest the Lok Sabha elections or he will come join the government through. But a lot of things are in store because BJP wants to increase its foothold in Tamil Nadu by the time when the next elections are held in 2026 in Tamil Nadu.
Magnet Ranga wants to know, Namaskaram, is Nitish's position not shaky? Couldn't his miscalculation take him to political oblivion?
Well, sir, his current status is already finds his role diminished in this uniting opposition parties. So he is looking forward to a situation where he will get the post of convenership when the alliance leaders meet in Mumbai on August 30th. So for him, I think, because constantly there is also a talk that he could again go back to BJP, which is something the BJP leaders in Gujarat, in Bihar, they dread. They said, no, we don't want him back. So one cannot say what is this, but then he is a person who is permanently unhappy in any situation, in any arrangement, in any alliance.
Next question, please. Purnima Wag wants to know, I'm wondering if the India Alliance is trying to sabotage the G20 summit by taking away the press coverage, holding their meetings in Mumbai. It's not in the same dates, though.
No, it's not in the same dates, and I don't think. But then there will be other things that they will be definitely be up to, because G20 is not something they are very happy about. That so many leaders are coming, and the Prime Minister Modi is the focus of attention. He's playing host. What do you call it? Pure jealousy or pure envy, whatever it is. They just can't stand anything happening under Modi.
Next question, please. Srinivas Jayaprakash wants to know, sir, I have been to Rajasthan recently. The welfare schemes of Gehlot seems to have struck a chord with the masses. Will the temporary peace brokered between him and Pilot result in a Congress victory?
No, definitely. This is what I just mentioned because the government has been implementing a lot of freebies in Rajasthan, and those schemes have traction in the masses. But then people of Rajasthan are not known to vote differently in the assembly elections and Lok Sabha elections. We saw it in 2018 and 19. They gave a mandate to Ashok Gehlot, but they chose Prime Minister Modi in the Lok Sabha elections. So there is a lot of possibilities in which Gehlot does feel confident, and there is a patch up now between. I do not know what is the formula. Probably Ashok Gehlot would step down after the elections. I do not know, but definitely this thing is working at the moment, and let's see. But I think that the crux of the issue will be when the tickets are distributed, and Ashok Gehlot would definitely have a bigger say. Can Sachin Pilot ensure ticket for all his people, or is it part of that brokered peace formula? We will know when the names are announced.
Thank you so much, sir. And let's make this the last question. Narayan P wants to know, in light of freebies, is EC thinking about some new guidelines on the same before the 2024 general elections?
Well, I don't think, Narayanji, because the initially Election Commission had sought their views whether they should form part of the model code of conduct. If you are announcing some schemes, you should also give the economic wherewithal. How will you implement the scheme? Where will you find those resources? They were strongly objected to by parties which only rely on freebies for their electoral victories, because they said, "Who is the Election Commission to ask us?" So I don't think Election Commission is pursuing that idea further. But then the proof of the pudding is already there, because states like Karnataka, Himachal Pradesh, they're already having a lot of problems. They were openly declaring we can't do any development work this year or next year. And Himachal is now reeling under floods, huge devastations caused by Mother Nature. And they need a lot of funds. With that, how to implement these schemes? And these promises are credited to Priyanka Gandhi. It's a Priyanka Gandhi who goes about in the election bound states making this 5 promises or 6 promises, and because they think promises works. Sir, because in their mind they are confined to a very limited objective, but it's a very big objective, that somehow the BJP should be defeated and Prime Minister Modi should be forced out of office the next 2024. Beyond that, I don't think they are looking at the economics. They are looking at actual ways to ensure welfare. Proper welfare of those people who have taken care on the direct benefit transfer. The fact that under Modi's regime, things have been going more directly, a thing which they did not conceive or they did not think of earlier. That's the biggest thing that has made difference to the poor class.
Yes, indeed. And that brings us to a close of today's program. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Do subscribe to our channel. Please share and like our videos. And Shekharji will be back with you on Saturday. I may have to do a small tweak on that day because I'm going to be traveling. I'll get back to you, sir. We will get back to you, viewers, on what we are going to do for the Saturday program. And as always, pleasure having you, sir. Namaskar.
Namaskar. Thank you.